Everyone always talks about third down being the money down in the NFL, but what if I told you that wasn't entirely true? And beyond that, what if I told you that good third down teams in the NFL, particularly on defense, are actually just really good first and second down teams in disguise that make their third downs easier in the first place? I'm sure this does not come as a surprise to you at all, but generally speaking, the rate at which defenses get stops on third down directly correlates to the amount of yards to go on those third downs. If you break out the average third down conversion rates allowed on defense across the league and separate them by distance, you end up with a very clear and also pretty predictable trend. Per the data that I pulled from Pro Football Focus, on third and short, meaning third and 1 or 2 yards to go, the average conversion rate is 62.8%, which makes a lot of sense because most short yardage runs are probably going to move the chains. But then that conversion rate drops to 46.8% when you get to third and medium, meaning third and 3 to 6 yards to go. Then you get into third and long, which is third and 7 to 10. It drops again to 34.42%. And then once you get to third and very long, i.e. third and 11 plus, it craters even more to just a 16.3% average conversion rate allowed. So just looking at that surface level data, it's not really a surprise that 4 of the best defenses in the NFL, Detroit, when they were healthy at least, Houston, Denver, and Minnesota were all literally the top 4 defenses in the NFL in terms of average third down distance to go. All of them were at least 7.7 yards, with Denver being the best at 7.9 yards. Meanwhile, the absolute worst defense in the league, Carolina, and they were bottom of the NFL in like almost every conceivable metric, they also just so happen to be the bottom of the NFL in terms of average third down distance to go at 6.2 yards, which doesn't sound like a huge drop off between 6.2 and 7.7, but that's basically a yard and a half. And that's a really big deal when we're talking about giving a defense more cushion to work with in what is literally a game of inches. So I guess the real question now is this. If getting off the field consistently on third down is all about having the longest possible average distance to go on third down, how do you do that as a defense? Like, what is the secret sauce to generating more third and longs and third and forever situations? That is what today's show is all about. But before we get to the meat of it, I want to thank today's sponsor for helping to make this show possible in the first place, Factor. If you don't know who Factor is already, by the way, they ship fresh, never frozen, dietitian-approved meals right to your doorstep. All the meals can be heated up in the microwave in just 2 minutes. They taste great, and there's a ton of variety, so you never get bored. There's over 35 different meal options per week with more than 60 add-on options, including breakfasts, on-the-go lunches, snacks, and beverages. They also have keto options, calorie smart, vegan and veggie, and more. Whatever kind of food you like to eat, they have it. Factor, both literally and figuratively, takes the stresses of grocery shopping and meal prepping off your plate during a busy week. So if you're interested in getting meals that can be made fast, eaten conveniently, and still be tasty, all delivered right to your door, I encourage you to check out Factor. And if you go to factor75.com down below, use promo code 50FilmRoom, that's going to get you 50% off and free shipping on your first Factor box. Again, that is promo code 50FilmRoom at factor75.com. That's linked down below. And that promo code is going to get you 50% off and free shipping on your first Factor box. Thank you once again to Factor for sponsoring today's show. And with that, let's get back to it. As we established earlier in the show, not every third down is created equal. But what if I told you that not every sack is created equal either? Let's go back to that handy chart from earlier and add in third down sack percentages on top of third down conversion rates allowed, because that's where things get really interesting. Predictably, sack percentages are rather low at just 7.1% in third and short situations, which is mostly because there's less pass plays in third and short to begin with. But then it jumps up pretty significantly to 9.4% when you get to third and medium, because obviously there's more pass plays in third and medium situations. The average sack percentage jumps up again to 9.9% in third and long, but interestingly, it kind of levels out in third and very long. There's only 0.1% difference between third and 7 to 10 and third and 11 plus, at least in terms of sack rates. But again, you juxtapose that with the steep decline in conversion rate from third and 7 to 10 to third and 11 plus, and you can see how there's not really a big correlation between the established drop-off in conversion percentage to any sort of spike in sack percentage. And the disconnect between those two metrics that feel like they should be more correlated but actually aren't is because not every third down stop is a sack. In fact, the vast majority of them aren't. If you look at every single third down stop from across the entire league last season, only 14% of them actually came from sacks. Everything else came from just every other way that you can get off the field on third down, whether it's a PBU, an interception, a check down that gets tackled short, a scramble that gets tackled short, a give up draw that gets tackled short. I mean, there's a million ways to get off the field on third down. So really, the goal of a good third down defense is not just to get a sack. It's nice, but it's not really mandatory. The goal of a good defense is to get into second and long first, so you can try to get into third and forever. And from there, the sacks are just naturally going to come with that uptick in longer yardage situations. But again, it's not really the goal, it's more of a byproduct. Once defenses get into third and 11 plus, they tend to just sit back and play zone coverage. They aren't going to give you anything deep. They're just going to encourage a check down, then rally, tackle, and get off the field. That's the whole game. In fact, if you look at specifically the third down conversion rates on a completed pass, meaning how often does a completion result in a new first down, if you break it out by distance, again, completions on third and 7 to 10 are going to result in a conversion about 62.4% of the time. But a completed pass on third and 11 plus only results in a conversion 26.4% of the time. That is nearly a 40% drop. So not all completed passes are created equal either. And that is why ultimately the average third down conversion rate allowed after a second down sack is only 19.5%. That is obviously really, really low. And the reason why it's low is because the vast majority of sacks on second down, nearly 75% of them actually, are going to put offenses into third and 11 plus situations, which, as we established, already have a really low average conversion rate. If you want to get off the field, the most consistent and reliable way to do that is to take a second and manageable and then turn it into a third and forever. And that is backed up by data. If you take the last 4 seasons combined as a sample size and you look at the average lost expected points per play on a sack, broken out by down and distance, you can see how some second down sacks are actually worth more in lost EPA than some third down sacks. And for the sake of you being able to easily reference this at a glance, I'm going to throw up the rankings here as well, from highest value to lowest value for a sack based on when and where it occurs. The highest values for sacks, at least from a defensive perspective, are going to be on third and short and second and short respectively, because that takes an offense that is on schedule and forces it back into being off schedule by taking a loss. But you can also see that a sack on second and medium is more valuable than a sack on third and long. And sacks on both second and long and second and very long are also more valuable than a sack on third and 11 plus. And the reason for that is that a second down sack echoes into the next play. There's kind of a finality to a third down sack that is valuable in a vacuum. The drive is just over right then and there, but if you'll remember, only 14% of third down stops end that way. The goal is to get a third down stop, not a third down sack. And getting a third down stop is a hell of a lot easier after a second down sack. And as a side note, by the way, if you're wondering who's led the entire NFL in second down sacks over the last 3 seasons, it's Trey Hendrickson at 15. Look, I'm not going to jump into the whole Bengals mess today because that's probably its own episode, so I'll just leave it at this. Good defenses win on third down, but great defenses win on first and second down so that they can win on third down. If you have a player on your roster that makes impact plays on early downs as much as he does on late downs, that is a force multiplier that you can't really replace, and it's worth whatever money they want. That's why Pittsburgh just paid TJ Watt in the first place. Like, yeah, he's 31, and like, would I have guaranteed that much money for a 31-year-old? Probably not. But like, at the same time, they have the cap space, and it's TJ Watt. Like, what are you going to do? Not pay him? You're going to trade a guy whose jersey's going to be in the rafters for a day 2 pick? Like, fuck no. Like, they have the money. They don't care. It's TJ Watt. It makes sense. But for the Bengals specifically, I said I wasn't going to do a Bengals rant, but I'll do a little mini rant. For the Bengals specifically, if you're trying to convince your fan base that you're going on a Super Bowl run here and you're paying your core of talent and you're keeping the band together because we're going to go on a real run in the AFC and we're going to show the Chiefs and the Bills and the Ravens that we're still here to compete, why would you stop short of that, right? Like, you have literally one of the most valuable defensive players in the NFL, and every other top pass rusher that's also in his age bracket, whether it's Danielle Hunter or TJ Watt, just got raises to the top of the market, or at least near the top of the market in Hunter's case. So what's the deal? Like, either you're all in or you're not. You can't really be in between here. So I don't know. If I was a Bengals fan, I'd be pissed. If I was a Steelers fan, I'd be happy. Like, we already know that TJ Watt's a franchise icon, and it's nice that he's going to get to retire in Pittsburgh. But, like, if I'm a Bengals fan, you can't look at TJ Watt's deal and Danielle Hunter's deal and then, see your own team not want to pay Trey Hendrickson what he's worth. It's frustrating. I'm not even a Bengals fan, and I'm frustrated. But anyway, hope you guys enjoyed today's show. Hope you found it enlightening and or educational. And if you still think I'm an idiot, that's cool too. I'll see you guys again very soon. And until then, later.